So there are certain factors to consider when you're filling in your profile. Remember, that's the first thing people see, so we want to make sure that it's rightfully optimized, it has the correct information, and the right information. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on the left side of the profile, which is your photo, your rate, your skills, a little bit about you, and other stuff. In the next lesson, we're going to go over how we can fill in projects from start to finish. So when you go over and hover onto any of these, you can change them. The first thing is your photo. Be sure that you have a professional headshot and it's a photo of you alone. A lot of people have photos where they're all the way in the back, and right off the bat, the client can't really connect with you through the human interaction. So make sure it's a headshot where your eyes are visible, you're professional, and you can just take that photo anywhere. That's the first thing. If you have a photo where it's not of you, or if it's like a pattern, landscape, chances are that the client will not find you that trustable when compared to a photo of yourself. Next, we have this button down here, which we spoke about briefly, but it's basically whether or not you're available. And I haven't come to this platform in a while, so as you can see, it named me as unavailable. And if I want to get that back, I just have to press this button, and now I'm available. If I'm not, I'll just go back in here and click on unavailable. The next thing is your full name. Just type it there with the pencil on the side. We have the get in touch button, which basically you're letting people contact you with questions, with projects, and all that stuff. But if you don't want them to contact you, you just turn that off, and I will also no longer appear in Discover. So I'm not sure why they have that option. You should definitely have that turned on. Next is your recommendations, which we looked over here. But essentially, when you click on them, you have the option to ask for a recommendation. So you type in your client's first name, last name. If it's a company, you just put one right here. Person's email, someone that you can't contact. You can add their LinkedIn profile if you want to, if you have access to that. The company, it's optional. And you can also add in your collaborator. So if you're just starting out on this platform, I highly recommend going back to your previous clients or collaborators and just ask them to fill this up for you. It won't take that long, but it's going to help you tremendously. Even if you have one recommendations, you're already above the people who don't have any. You will show up on the discovers or when someone searches for a skill that you have. So it might seem a bit tedious, but it's actually very important. You can write a message. There's one already there for you, but of course you can change this up. This will be telling us that there's going to be a link. So once you have all this and you fill this up, you simply request recommendations. That person is going to get an email, and there's a link for them to click on. Once they go in there, they will get a box where they get to write about their experience with you. And that is going to show up, as you can see, right underneath. Now let's talk about your rate. Depending on which industry you're in, the starting rates will differ. And a lot of times you can't have flat rates, and you gotta have hourly rates. So for those that don't know, flat rates are a certain amount that you're going to take regardless of how many hours you put into that work, whereas an hourly rate is for every hour that you worked on that project, you will get X amount. So here I have 25 to 50 per hour. This is industry standard for graphic design, web design, and all that stuff. Though I believe I kept mine for graphic design. But if you're not sure of how to calculate your hourly rate, there is this tool, clockify.me/hourly rate calculator. Basically choose your industry. Let's go for a game programmer, your location. Let's do United States. Experience, say I'm 1 to 3 years. Now it's going to tell me the average of 45 per hour. This is based on my experience. If I say I'm an expert, that's going to go up. And if I have no experience, it's going to go down. And this is, of course, different for every place. So former Soviet Union, $21. If you don't trust this, you can also just type in how much should I charge for a senior or junior game programmer in the United States or in Canada. You're going to find tons of articles guiding you through that process. So once you have that figured out, you simply go over here, type it in, or actually you would choose it here. You can also say, I prefer not to say, but it's better to have that up front just so the client knows what they're signing up for. So choose that, hit save. Next, we have skills and tools. The first three are what's going to pop up on the client view. So make sure you choose those wisely. The top three that I went with were the following. I'm sure that for a lot of you, there's more to it than just 3 skills, but think about a very specific thing that you want to focus on. Because the more you concentrate on a niche, the more likely it is that you're going to get clients. So instead of, say, being a graphic designer, try being a startup logo designer. So that's very specific. You're targeting a certain audience, and people can find you easier. And in a way, you're telling them straight up with that title that you are experienced in that startup field. So you can do that. Just delete it. Put in, I'm going to put in logo designer for now. And that is more specific than graphic design. After that, we have the tools. So type in the stuff that you are familiar with or an expert in, hit save, and there we go. The badges section is basically things that you do and Contra rewards you for it. So we saw in the previous lesson someone had People's Choice or something. Those are stuff that you're going to gain eventually the more you are on this platform. But the first 2 things that you should get after this lesson is getting your payments active and verifying your identity. If you don't have these 2 badges, you can't even be trusted because the client will eventually have to pay you and they don't even know if you are who you say you are. So after this lesson, take the time, verify it. I believe with the identity verification, it takes a few business days, but it's totally worth it considering that you're going to actually show up on the search results. Next is your About section. You can choose any tone of voice or any perspective that you want, but try to sound friendly and approachable and not so much like a robot. Remember, this is not exactly your resume. This is a profile for people to come onto and trust you as a fellow designer. Some people like to do this type of writing in third person. Some people like to bring in a lot of numbers. Others like to just say that they're passionate. Maybe they'll list a few of their hobbies and all that stuff. But just take the time to write a good About section. You can also use the help of ChatGPT if you're not sure how to get about it, or view other profiles on Contra to see what's in demand. So we can actually do that. Let's go to Discover and search for someone in our field. So logo designer, let's go for this person. And so they're having this pitch that she's gonna give them an increased clarity and confidence in their brand and a question near the end, which most likely the answer will be yes. Let's look at some other stuff. So this person chose to introduce themselves. So passion, confidence, and something near the end to just pump them up for a potential project. All right, this person is saying their title, a different approach. But as you can see, there's a ton of ways to do it. There isn't like one standard here. But the main goal is that you are a personality on this platform. So try to match that and keep it consistent across all your designs, all your writings, and across your entire profile. Let's go back here. Next is your location. You can type it in. This actually helps, especially in regards to time zone. Time zone and then the languages that you speak. You can add as many as you want and choose your fluency. Down here is the links to your social medias. You can put in your portfolio, another portfolio if you have it listed as a website. If you have Behance, LinkedIn, Dribbble, and all that stuff, you can add new links, then like a YouTube channel, anything you want. And people can further explore your creativity and just be sure of their decision. So that is the profile section. In the next lesson, we're going to make a new project and see how we can make a great first impression and basically convince the clients that we are right for their job.